Hello, I'm Anthony McLemore, and welcome to the Centennial Investor. In this video, I go over the 5 habits that help me save and invest $20,000 while still being a college student. If you like this kind of content and want to see more content like this, hit the like button for the YouTube algorithm, and we can get right into it. What's going on, guys? Today, I want to do a quick video on how I saved $20,000 while still being in college. Now, I know $20,000 may seem like a lot of money to a lot of people, and it was and still is a lot of money to me. In order to achieve that amount of savings, you have to have a certain level of discipline in your life to consistently be able to save, consistently be able to put your money to use for you. And I was able to save up this much money while still being a college student athlete. Now, as a student athlete, we don't really get paid as much money as someone normally would. So I think that using my experiences as being a student athlete and being able to save $20,000 while still being in college, I can use that as a foundation for one of you guys to use some of my techniques in order to save money for yourself. So the first habit that I developed in order to save this amount of money was always having an end goal in mind. Now, this may seem simple, or it may seem complex to a lot of people, or it just may seem completely ignorant to not have an end in mind. But I really think that having an end in mind really allowed me to see the finish line at some points when I was saving, because if I didn't have that end in mind, then it would have been really easy to use a portion of my savings to buy a new car or to spend on some credit cards that I really didn't need. So my end goal in mind was to always have $10,000 saved. That's something that I had a goal. As soon as I graduated high school, I really just always wanted to at least have $10,000 saved in my bank account in order to make the best of the opportunity that I was given. Now, I was going to college on a very good scholarship. I didn't have any tuition to pay, but early on in my college career, I did make some stupid decisions regarding money, and I ran up a couple charges on my credit cards, which left me in debt. So my first year of college wasn't making much progress, but after my freshman year of college, I was able to reevaluate my financial position and then put my money to work for me. One of the hardest things for me to figure out how to do was simply save money. I know that it sounds like a simple task, but having the ability to transfer money into a savings account and keep money into a savings account are two entirely different skills. I found it so hard for myself personally because every single time I found a little bit of excess money in my bank account, I would simply spend it. My freshman year was full of running up credit card transactions and just doing stupid things with money. Just spending way more money than I brought in each month and only making a minimum payment on that same credit card for the next couple months. And after a while, I simply just got tired of getting myself further and further in debt. It's kind of like a rabbit hole. You just keep on going down, and there's no stopping it until you reach your credit card max. And at that point, you really are in a terrible situation financially. So creating an end goal for myself is really what was the turning point for me turning my life around financially. So at the beginning of my sophomore year of college, I created an end goal of having $10,000 saved in a savings account at some point throughout the next 3 years of school. I knew I wasn't making a ton of money, so I felt like this was a goal that was both respectable and a little bit difficult to attain, because $10,000 is a pretty good sum of money to a lot of people. So before creating my end goal, I had to think of a purpose to use it for. I didn't want to just say $10,000 just to say $10,000, because if I was just saving just to have money in the bank account, then it really wouldn't be as effective as I may have thought. So my whole end goal was to save $10,000 to start an investment account for myself. At this point in my life, I didn't know a ton about passive income or stock market investing or different things like that. I just knew that if I had $10,000 invested in something, then I would be able to get a return from it that I could live on for a little while. Maybe not forever, but it was a foundation that I was able to stand on. So what I did was I said that I wouldn't invest any money until I had a good understanding of what to invest in. So this is why I transferred all of my money into a savings account rather than an investment account. At first, at this point in my life, I really didn't have a good understanding of what investments were. The second habit that helped me save $20,000 while still in college was to become a bounty hunter. Now, me personally, I was not shy of any deals that I could get my hands on. I was really excited to save money in any way that I possibly could. One of my favorite ways to save money that I used over and over again for about 3 years straight now was the Hulu Black Friday deal. I was so excited about this Black Friday deal because I was able to get 12 12 months worth of Hulu for about $1 or $2 a month. And I just think that this was one of the times in my life that sort of sparked my excitement about saving as much money as I could. Now, I wasn't one of those extreme couponers or those extreme cheapskates by any means, but I always tried to find at least 1 or 2 ways while doing my regular shopping to save a couple bucks. This could be signing up for Shell gas rewards card that would save me 5 cents every gallon that I pump the gas, or it could be just buying a great value brand of a cereal instead of the name brand. It was just little things like this that helped me save a lot of money while in college. One of my most memorable stories of saving money while in college was that we went to the NCAA tournament one year, and every single time we went to a practice or a game, they would refill our lockers, these big full-size bottles of body wash and deodorant and things like that. It wasn't the travel size stuff, it was the big full-size stuff. And I noticed that if we even used it one time, like for one shower, they would replace the whole thing with a brand new bottle. So what I started doing, me being the financial sort of woke person that I can be, is I started to just put the bottles that I used in my bag so that the next time they filled it up, I'll get a brand new set. And they kept on going on and on and on for the longevity of the tournament. And then the bottles that my teammates didn't want or use, like certain deodorants that they didn't like, I put those in my bag as well. So at the end of the day, I had 3 years worth of deodorant and body wash and sprays that I still have today from that one NCAA tournament. We ended up going to one more NCAA tournament since then, and I got a whole bunch more then. That's just one way of me being super cheap, you know, not having to, but I just think that's one of my more memorable stories of me finding a way to save money. Habit number 3 was probably the most important habit for me to develop in order to save as much money as I did, and that was to cut back the fat. This means that I had to eliminate all of the extra spending that I was spending money on that I really didn't need. This could be Netflix subscriptions that I was overpaying for, or Hulu, or anything like that. Most importantly, it was just little things that I would buy on Amazon that totaled about $100 to $200 per month that I really didn't need in my life, and that if I had cut that back, that would equal another $1,200 to $2,400 a year in savings that I could add to my account. So as I found new ways to cut back my expenses, I was able to save more and more money. In fact, I even created a spreadsheet to track all of my expenses. Now, the spreadsheet that I use is a little rudimentary. It's not as complex as most people have theirs, but if you want a free downloadable version of the spreadsheet, just leave a comment below and I'll create one of those. It's not super fancy, it's just something I use for myself personally in order to track my income and my expenses. But if you want something like that, I'll feel free to provide it. Just let me know and I'll get that to you. The 4th habit that I had that helped me save a lot of money was to be a debt linebacker. So in my freshman year of college, among those bad purchases that I made was I bought a 2015 Jeep Cherokee for about $12,000. And in order to get that car, I maxed out 2 of my credit cards and I took on a high interest debt of about 15%. So the monthly payment on that car was about $300, which was about 33% of the income I was making at the time. And as you can tell, that was not a good decision financially for me at the time. And to be so young and to not have a lot of money, I just really shouldn't have made that decision. So throughout my sophomore year, I really spent a lot of time and focus on paying back this debt as quick as possible to eliminate all of the interest payments that I was making. I understood that at the time, the interest that I was paying on a loan was basically just money that I was paying for the company renting the money out to me so I could have the car. And I knew that that interest payment was taken away from the money that I could have in my savings account. So I had to devise a way to pay it back as quickly as possible. I went through various services such as MTurk, Fiverr at the time, freelancing, day trading. I had pretty much anything and everything in my repertoire as far as making as much extra money as possible. I even attempted to deliver for some grocery services for a little bit, but it really didn't work out because my schedule was too demanding for me to be away from home that much because I was still a college basketball player at a pretty big institution. Moving on, I'm going to go to my 5th habit that helped me save $20,000 while still in college, and that was to change my mindset about money. One of the books that I read in college that pretty much changed my life entirely was Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. Now this guy, he gets a lot of good publicity, but he also gets a good bit of bad publicity because how he handles the conversation about money. So the regular person treats an asset as anything that you own of value. So this could be your car, your house, your personal things in your house, every little thing. So if you add up the value of all those things, you'll have the value of your total assets, and liabilities are whatever money you owe out to others. So this is your mortgage on your house, your car note, and any personal loans that you may have. So that's the regular definition. But Robert Kiyosaki, he flips this on his head by saying that an asset is only something that actually pays you money. So that actually brings the income in on a monthly basis. So he would say assets are things like a rental property, but not necessarily as your primary residence, because just because you own that house doesn't mean that you're going to get anything monetarily or any cash flow from it. So his definition of an asset equals cash flow. If it doesn't have any cash flow, then it's not an asset. Then Robert Kiyosaki goes on to say his definition of a liability is anything that takes money out of your pocket every single month. So this is pretty straightforward. With the regular definition of liability is that it's also money that you owe. But if you have a balance sheet set up, the main difference is that your regular house that most people include as their largest asset is not an asset in his book because it doesn't provide any cash flow. So what I did in order to help me save $20,000 while in college, I used this sort of change of mindset about money and only buying things that were assets to me. This is what set the foundation of my investment journey in the future. So in conclusion, by utilizing some, if not all of these habits, I hope that you can save a couple more dollars than you may have normally. If not, then I'm just glad you watched this video. If you like this video, like and subscribe. This is my very first video here on YouTube. All this quarantine has brought me the inspiration to start a YouTube channel. So if you see this, support your boy, give me a like, comment on the video below, and hit that notification bell. I'm going to try to upload videos about 2 times a week, maybe 1 time a week. I'm still working on my website as far as getting that thing up and running. If you want to visit my website, it's centennialinvestor.com. It's the first link in the description. I'll also include a link to the blog that I wrote about this video so you can read a little bit more in depth about this same topic. All right, that's all I have for you guys. Peace.